Back at Snappy Tomato Pizza Skyhawk Talk with Coach Jason Simpson. We were talking about responsibilities here. Graham, how old is he? 3?
He's 3.
He's doing push-ups and pull-ups and chin-ups. I'm impressed. He's ready.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the Southeastern Louisiana game. Coach, great atmosphere, great night for football. Had the UT president, Dr. Joe DiPietro, was on the radio with us before the game. He picked the big win, and the weather was just tremendous.
Yeah, it was. And first of all, I want to say I certainly appreciate all the support, the people that came out, and the community, and the different organizations, and say thank you to our to Jerry and the Ag department and that group that was awesome in the end zone. And I hope that's something that grows of the different schools around campus that won't use that end zone as a way to to have a barbecue and with their faculty and their families and their students and stuff. I think that's a great idea, and I'm excited about that. So now there was one thing missing, as you know, and there wasn't enough of other students that were there.
Yeah.
And there was different things going on with Rush, and that's one of the things I've been fighting for several years around here. Is that when we have a football game or we have Rush, let's move the football game to another day, and let's honor Rush that day, or vice versa. But let's do something on our campus to where there was a great speaker on campus that on Thursday night, and I wish there was a lot of my players would have liked to go and hear the speaker from the former Hell South employee. But there was 3 or 4 things going on campus that night, so I wish we figured out a way to get them all at one time, because we just don't have enough people to support all those different events.
And that's totally what separates high school and college sports from the pros is the students' energy.
Right, and because there's nothing like college football. I mean, that's the pageantry of it, the traditions of it, and if you put another 500 people in our stadium, then that makes it for just a tremendous home field advantage.
Coach, we had thought when we were trying to break down the game that it might be a high-scoring game. It was a defensive battle for the first 3 quarters. Not a lot of offense going on.
It was, you're right. And watching on tape, their defense was significantly better than their offense, and we knew that going in. And we had told our defense that, hey, you're going to have to set the tempo, and our defense was going to be able to handle them. We felt like that. We just couldn't give up any, too many big plays, and we did give up several. But besides those big plays, we pretty much handled them. And I was hoping, like we alluded to, that our offense would be more productive, but sometimes now also there's different strategies, Chris, as you know, that goes into that. When your defense is handling them, making them punt, and they're having a tough time, it affects you as a play caller too, because there's no need to take a whole lot of risk.
Right.
You run the ball, you change field position. Eventually we'd come out of one of those runs. I mean, my goodness, we ran the ball 50-something time. We had 85 plays in the game. And we're trying to run the clock. We had a ball for 37-something minutes.
Right, your time of possession is 37-23. Theirs is 22-37.
So, you do what you got to do to win.
I think it was the most, when you look at the ratio between pass plays and run plays, it's probably the most lopsided that I can remember in a game that you've coached. Am I right?
Yeah, it was 50-something runs to 23 passes.
That's exactly right.
And so, that's, we want to be more balanced than 50-50, but
you're trying to win the game, and whatever it takes to get there.
Exactly, no questions. We've the statistics don't matter. This is a quality team we've got, but you also want to look forward to the next game is where we get better the next week. So that's the dilemma that you live with, as far as, hey, do you do just enough to win this game, or and ultimately that's going to always be your the decision you go with. Don't get me wrong, but you're still trying to grow because it is early in the season.
You did something interesting in the game, and Cody Sandlin had missed 2 field goals. We talked about it a little bit last week. I don't want to dwell on it because he's obviously been inconsistent, and I'm sure there's nobody tougher on himself than he is.
Right.
But you made a decision to put Jackson Reddit in, and for a point after. Talk about that decision.
Well, it just told Cody that hey, it's just it's like a baseball player, sitting the game out. You just need to sit. You need to watch one, and he understood. Now, we didn't get any field goal opportunities, so Jackson got to go out there and kick the extra point. Now, what people may not understand is that one field goal kicker is left-footed and one's right-footed. Okay, so we have 2 different holders, because that's very difficult to ask a guy to flip back and forth on different knees. And so Jackson gets to go in and kick the extra point. Well, then we get in field goal range again. Well, Jackson, you're still up, and we were off sides, and I saw that our holder had a problem with the snap. Our backup quarterback is our Jared Neal's our holder, and this is his first game to get to go in too. And so it worried me, just his experience of holding more so than I was worried about the kicker, although Cody has been inconsistent. So Cody actually got to go back in the game because we switched holders.
And he
made it.
He made it.
So good decision, huh?
Yeah, you're a genius.
Yeah, exactly.
Who knew? That's a great story, Coach. Coach, let's talk about some of the other highlights from the game. First, it was in the fourth quarter. Still, you're leading 7-0, and the fourth quarter you basically dominated. Even though they scored late in the game, you almost shut them out.
Well, we did. I think it was our first opportunity to have a shutout against an FCS team, and we got it down to the last 36 seconds, and that was a little bit on me. I was pushing some of those third-team guys, second-team guys in on defense because, you want everybody to get a chance get a part of that victory. We got a couple silly penalties. Got them in the red zone, and then put the starters back in, and, they hit one or two passes there, and they were able to get a score. But, it'd been nice to get out there with a shutout.
Coach, let's talk about some of the notes from the game. Junior wide receiver Jeremy Butler did not play because of that hard hit he took at, I guess it was Northern Illinois.
Yeah.
How is he?
Well, I hope he's fine. He seems to have, no lingering effects, but today be his first day of practice. We need Jeremy. We need him to, first of all, he needs to learn what to do. And I've been very blunt, very honest to him about that. And then there's nothing he could do about the concussion, but that puts him back another week. So we're in game 4. And as a team, we know Jeremy Butler is a very good player. You guys haven't seen him yet unless you've been out to our practice. So we need to get him going because we need another playmaker on offense.
I want to spend the next 4 minutes talking about Ben Johnson, the junior linebacker. To me, in watching it, and you're watching film and you're seeing him every day, he's just, when it comes to creating an angle to get to where he needs to be, he gets there so fast.
He does, yeah. You don't realize how fast he is. He really does. He runs as fast.
That's my question. Is it speed or is it smarts?
It's both. I mean, he definitely goes A to B, and doesn't need a map to how to get there to tackle the ball carrier. And then he's fast, and he has a way. He's not a guy that's going to run through, two blockers to get to the ball carrier. That's not how he plays. He'll go around them and knife back in, and make the play. And not that he's not physical, that's not what I'm saying, but he's a speed player. He plays in space, and that's why, and he's a good tackler, and that's why he leads us in tackles.
He was a redshirt, right? No, he was a walk-on.
Exactly.
What's the story?
Well, it's a neat story. I think it was Jeep Wade actually. He'd kind of recruited him from Fairview, and I think Ben was a safety out of high school. May have played a little tight end or running back or quarterback somewhere in there. But he was only probably 190 pounds, but still a good-looking kid. And gets here and goes through the fall with us as a red shirt. Matter of fact, we were laughing about it a couple of weeks ago because that year we had a lot of guys joining our program walking on, and so they had to dress in the visitors' locker room. And because I had kind of made just a statement. I said, okay, I'm tired of these guys joining our program and leaving, so here's what we're going to do. All 10 or 12 of you are going to dress in the visitors' locker room, and, we'll see who really wants to play. And out of that group was Ben Johnson and Bobby Ellis, so the only two that are still with us, and they're both starters. So it certainly paid off for us. But Ben left us and didn't, after the redshirt year, didn't really know if he was, if this is what he wanted to do or if he was ever going to get to play for us, and kind of enjoyed the student life. And then when he came back, a year later, he was probably 15 to 20 pounds heavier and stronger, and went through spring practice with us, and we saw that he was going to be able to play. And last year developed himself into a starter, and this year, I think he's an all OVC caliber player.
Yeah, without a doubt. With the walk-on, about how many do you have a year?
Probably 8 to 10 a year over a period of time. But some of them last one day, some of them last, a month. Very few, maybe one or two will last a whole year. And, Garrett Vincent, we've got some quality players that walked on our program. Like we said, Bobby Ellis, Smooch, over the years, Joe Donovan. We've had a lot of quality players that have joined our program as walk-ons. Stephen Frazier, Jordan Stokes, some quality kids that we wouldn't be at the point we are without them.
How do you become a walk-on on a college football team?
You get your high school coach to call and recommend you, or, some of them are guys that we recruited and then just didn't quite make the cut for whatever reason to get offered a scholarship. Some have walked in my office and knocked on the door and said, "Coach, you got a few minutes."
Really? Yeah. And usually you're like, "Yeah, right."
Yeah, exactly, and stuff. But I've learned to be real skeptical because some think it is intramurals and you can kind of go and come as you please, and they realize that once they get out there, the guys that they're going are having to tackle or block are a little bit bigger and stronger than what they realized, and so. That's why I don't see them again until the next spring.
How does it work at the bigger programs at Tennessee and Alabama? They have walk-ons too, but how do you walk on there, and are their walk-ons as good as our scholarship players?
Same way. Yeah. I mean, same recommendations from high school coaches or an alum or something. To kind of get your film evaluated. And I think the guys come in all shapes and sizes. I mean, there's been some that we've recruited that said, my dream is to play in an SEC school, and if I've got to walk on, that's what I'm going to do. All right? That's few and far between. But I think the opportunity to earn scholarship as a position player, in the OVC, you're going to have a better opportunity. Maybe there's probably long snappers and kickers that will earn, because they'll bring 6 kickers in, and whoever wins the job will get a scholarship. To where we're going to, have to scholarship like a specialist. Because if not, then that guy's going to walk on an SEC school to see if he can earn a scholarship. So, every different level of football's got their different challenges.
When it comes to the team concept, you want your team to be together as one, but obviously some kind of segregation takes place. Is it based on who starts, who doesn't start, seniors from freshmen? Where do you see? I mean, I know you don't want it, but where do you see it?
I think it's all different kind. I do. I think your older guys kind of hang together because they've been there, done that. There's memories and relationships already established, and they're at the same point at 23 years old in their lives as more so than that 18-year-old.
Yeah.
The freshmen seem to hang together a little bit more, obviously more, because everything's new to them and exciting. And they seem to have a little bit more energy and things. But and then your defensive guys stay together more. Your offensive line guys are always together. But it can get cliquish at times. I mean,
that's a better term. Is click. Yeah.
But it's not based on racial status or money or anything trivial like that.
Sports is the great equalizer.
It is. It's more based on hey. You and I are both running backs, so we hang out together because we're on the same, you're on the same schedule. But I tell you what is neat as a coach, though, is Mr. Dane sent me a nice email today, or AD, and he had DJ McNeil at one of our student activities cookout or something. He told DJ to bring somebody with him, and DJ's been here 3 years, and so he brings a freshman, which I like that because those freshmen don't have his, they've been here 3-4 weeks now, or 4 weeks now. So, this was a way to get another freshman out and introduce him to some other people. And the freshman was on defense, so DJ's a running back for us, so there's some crossover there. So those are good things. And I like to see our older players, our established players, reach out to those younger players and make sure that they're not, not segregated and not, separate from the rest of the team.
And you can usually, and I could ask you from when you played baseball or football, somebody probably took you under their wing and helped you out a little bit, and older player did.
And, as long, and what you're looking for is, those seniors recognize, one, if you've got talent. Okay, you're going to get their attention a little bit for that. 2, you respect the game. You respect their status on the team. You put the team above your personal stats and stuff. Those older guys will they notice that, and it means something to them, and they want to be around you because, 2, that one, they know that's their obligation as a senior class. That's what they're supposed to do. And 2, you can help them win a conference championship.
Right, exactly.
So they're going to make sure you're where you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be there.
I can't even imagine this, but I know as a freshman when a regular student starts, they're a little intimidated by it all. But do you actually have some freshman student athletes, maybe not this year, but in the past, who come in and their confidence is just over the top and they really are too confident compared to where they should be?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And
your seniors know that, and they're like, "Look, young pup."
It's the ones when you recruit. I mean, who and there's some that can back it up. There's some that can come compete. Then there's some that are a little bit overzealous, and you can tell from day one when they stand up and introduce themselves, and the humbleness is not there, that they kind of take a little ridiculing, and but it's good to see they finally get it figured out, and they come to you and they say, Coach, I am going to get the red shirt, right? And so a couple of weeks ago they thought they were going to win. They were going to win the Heisman.
They're going to the NFL.
Yeah. So no, that's good. I mean, there's some humble to that, and because there's some de-recruiting that has to take place. I had to get on some freshmen today, and we were talking about grades and what I was telling you about the sideline and having no energy and stuff. And everybody's got a role. Every coach, every player, every trainer, every manager, every redshirt player's got a role on our team. It may not be the role that you want right now. It may not be the most glamorous role, but you have a role, and if you're not doing your role, then we all suffer.
It's tough. It's got to be. I admire you in your position. Most people, well, I guess you're like a boss at a place where a lot of people work, but you want your people to be confident, but not too confident.
Right.
They have to be coachable.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the prerequisite for being coachable is, but some kids are just more coachable than others. They listen and they try.
They are.
I guess that's the bottom line.
Yeah, no, it is, and it goes back to what we were talking about earlier. Your body language, is it yes sir after you say something, or is it an excuse, or but I, or or what happened was, those are things that you're not looking for. If you don't understand, then come and see me at another time, and we'll elaborate some more on it. So, you're right. You're always looking for, is that player coachable? Because none of us know it all, and so we need that.
And I guess the key ingredient's trust. You have to trust them, and they have to trust you. And if you can't trust them out there to do their job, they're probably not going to get a lot of playing time.
Well, that's unfortunately that's part of it. I mean, if you can't take care of the football, how can I trust you to put it in your hands? If you can't line up correctly, how can we trust you? So no, but I tell you what, it is you can't let anything go because you're trying to cultivate and you're trying to teach and you're trying to mold young men and players, and it's fun to watch though when those younger players kind of get it.
And I think you've said that since 2006, the way you've changed the most is not from your play calling or your practice regimen; it's how you interact with the players.
No, it is, and it changes. I mean, every once in a while you got to. You may have to throw a fit. You have to let them know. I understand. I've been patient long enough. Ultimately there is got to be a sense of urgency, and there's got to be a sense of respect for our program and what we want to do. But besides that, everybody's different. Everybody has got you got 95 players today in the building. Everybody had a different test today. Everybody had different financial problems. Everybody had different girlfriend problems. But I can't ask you to do this. I can't. You got to be on time. All right. You got to be on time, and you got to give me effort. And then besides that, we'll work through the situations.
Always surprises me, and a couple times this year you've been rather animated on the sideline with the officials, but you're so calm and relaxed. It always surprises me when you're animated.
Hey, I tell you what.
And usually when it's done, it's over. You go back to your old self.
And I was told today that we were right.
There we go.
I've told Joe that before. I only argue when I know I'm right.
Yeah.
Besides that, I don't argue. No, that you put so much time and so much energy and effort, into those games, and and sometimes you have to let things go, and other times, you have to fight for your kids and for your players. And at Northern Illinois, I was upset about something, and one of the offensive linemen, grabbed me and said, Coach thought we were going to have to, get you back in the box, but we appreciate it. You got your back. That's more important to me than ever getting that call right.
Right.
The people miss calls. I mean, think about it. You got this long to make a decision, and if it's not something reviewable, I mean, I can't imagine how many calls that I might, I would miss if I was an official. So it's not about that, but you gotta let your kids know that you got their back, especially when they know something's wrong or a little bit out of line and stuff. So that was well worth it that day.
Rarely do you see at our level calls overturned, but does it make a long-term difference, I guess, whenever you make a point to an official and you're right?
Well, I think so, because, like I said, you get back on the phone with your official supervisor, and he says, yes, we didn't handle that the right way. Well, obviously, he's relaying that to them, and, one or two things are going to happen, right? They either say, well, hey, he got me in trouble. No, it's not about you individually. We're trying to make sure that it doesn't happen.
It could help the next team next week that has nothing to do with you.
Or, hey, their coach saw it, he was on it. Maybe they take a little bit, maybe they talk about it next time and say, hey, let's get it right because he brought this to our attention and he was right last week. So that's all you can ask.
While I'm just peppering you with questions before we talk about Austin Peay, any rules that should be changed? Anything that you don't like that you wish were a little different or the officials would pay more attention to?
Golly, there's a ton of those, but it's give and take. You could argue both sides of it. As far as, different things of what judgment calls from pass interference, from holding. I mean, some people will tell you, hey, say holding 3 times before you throw a flag. This is holding, this is holding, this is holding.
Because it happens on every play.
Right. And but then of course, if I grab you and you just say this is holding, but if I've held you with enough force to jerk you one side and the ball carries past me, I sure wished it was a 1-count hold, not a 3-count hold. So, I think the game's good the way it is. There's always little things you could tweak, but beside that, just put the ball to 25 and let's go and move past all the touchbacks and the kickoffs, etc.
Okay, we'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll talk about Austin Peay, the opponent Saturday. Skyhawks on the road in the Ohio Valley Conference, and we'll preview the game when we return on the UT Martin Skyhawk Sports Network.